The Academy of the Tidewater Ballet in Norfolk, Virginia, has served as a training ground for aspiring professional dancers for 25 years. Formed by Jean Hammett and Mary Cooper in 1961, it is one of the oldest in the country and boasts more than 175 alumni dancing professionally around the world. Classical ballet's status as a major art form in this country has been a slow but steady evolution. Today, nearly every city, large and small, has a ballet company or a school providing youth and adults with a unique form of athleticism and artistic expression. As the Academy celebrates its 25th anniversary, it is a time for reflection as well as projection.
Would you like me to tell you about the beginning? The beginning was a telephone call from Jean. I had taken dancing as a little girl, but that was about as much as my interest in dancing went. And he and some other people I knew asked me to come to a meeting with the formation of a dance group in mind. And I protested, but it didn't do any good. I went down anyway. And when I left, I was president of a new ballet company. He was very impressive with the things that he told them, and he assured them that he wouldn't hurt any of their professional status in the community, that he would simply be a channel to send the best of their youngsters after his training to professional schools elsewhere north where they might be recognized. If they didn't achieve recognition in the professional world, they certainly would gain from his instruction.
Of course, my first memory of the studio was a movie theater. I saw How the West Was Won there when I was a kid. When I first walked into the academy here, there was just so much more energy. There was, I'm not talking about kids running all over the place. I'm talking about intense energy. You know, people working on their art, working to improve as dancers. You know, that kind of a concentration. You know, a mental energy.
Jean Hammett arrived in Norfolk at the close of a successful dance career, but wanted to continue his involvement as a teacher and choreographer. He realized that a school not located in the ballet capital, New York, would have to maintain the same demands of technique and discipline.
Well, when I first met Jean Hammett, I was scared to death of Jean Hammett. You know, I was just, he never yelled that much at me, but I just, in the beginning, never understood why he demanded so much of you. But when I went to New York City, I understood. I understood when he would tell you to do time, to stretch your feet. Even things as simple as when there's gossip happening in the studio, you go to the side and do time dues.
What was happening 25 years ago? A small studio on Bush Street, a young man with devil-may-care attitude who was determined that he was going to make a statement. And really, I did not want a school. I preferred a company. But like Mr. Balanchine found when he came to this country, if you really want a company, then you must first of all design the dancers. and that means a school teaching style and quality. And that truly was not here in Norfolk or in the state of Virginia.
The dancing school that I knew when I first came to Norfolk was simply a little place where you sent your future debutante daughter and son to learn how to dance with one another in a ballroom. And it was, of course, it was very important that you had your proper white gloves and you knew how to curtsy. But this ballet company that I'm talking about is so far removed from that. It is an expression of self-acknowledgement, of emotional joy, of pleasure, of ecstasy, and of usefulness.
Since ballet is demanding both mentally and physically, the youngest students are given special attention. Most ballet teachers, including those at the academy, have had dance careers and understand the stresses on the body. Ballet technique is not given until age 4. As the student progresses in ability and age, the demands for strength and concentration increase. Muscles are developed and stretched, and the movements become more fluid. While a teacher may see a few serious students through years of study, many will withdraw within the first year.
If they are going to dance, they must have the good training that they are having. And you can see by the number of students that we turn out that we are giving training that is acceptable at the professional level. If they are not going to dance, and most of them are not, we have teachers who are familiar with the structure of the body. You can lift insteps that want to fall, you can straighten up backs, you can straighten muscles, develop more balance in the body. This is going to be a great help as they get older. They learn to concentrate, they learn to set goals for themselves, they learn that there are some goals which are not going to bend, that you accomplish the goal or you do not, and you do not kid yourself that you have accomplished it if you have not. They learn, therefore, to deal with frustration. They learn life in general. We have an expression sometimes that we use is, welcome to the real world.
I try to sort of phase them in slowly to what ballet really is. If you just sat them in there and said, do first position, then they'd go, I'm so confused, I don't know what to do, and they run out and they start crying and they get upset. But if you just start doing fun things like skipping and then play games that in the end will really relate to the ballet, then it moves in much easier for them. The development is much easier. They don't feel like a sudden shock. Big face. I want to see a happy face. Oh, I'm not happy. Come on. A happy face.
I think it's good for all young people to be involved in a program like this because it teaches a lot of things that I'm very pleased with. That it's discipline and structure. And the ballet is such it's fun. She enjoys it. She enjoys all her dancing. Yet, at the same time that she's enjoying it, she's learning so much and she's becoming a better person for it because it's a discipline that I think young people need as much as anybody. It teaches them good habits.
body should have as much versatility for expression so that whatever a dancer may wish to do, whatever a choreographer may wish to see, they have more range of possibilities. Just an instrument to express what they want to give to the world with as much variety, potential variety as possible.
The Academy is a not-for-profit organization and does not meet its total operating costs, even with limited government support. Carol and Art Beck are part of a newly formed board of directors working to reverse some financial dilemmas facing the Academy.
I don't like this type of picture. You know, the face is too made up.
Well, about 5 years ago, a friend and I were talking about ballet in general, and I said I would like to take ballet lessons, and she went on to say that there was a studio near her that was really good for teaching adults. So I suggested that she sign us up. She did, and we came, and that was the beginning of it all. So Jean put me on the board, and from there I was elected president, and here I am.
I got involved in an effort to have a common area of interest that the family could work towards. I started taking ballet lessons in September of about a year and a half ago, and saw that as an opportunity for me not only to use ballet as an avenue for physical fitness, but also as an area where we could come down as a family together and get involved. Well, the most pressing problem for us right now is increasing our student enrollment here at the Academy. It has dwindled over the past years, and it's kind of a vicious circle that we've gotten in, because you need to promote in order to build a population. In order to promote, you have to have money. In order to get money, you need to have a good population. And without some influx of funds, then your ability to promote really is degraded.
They're going to other schools. I think a lot, we have a lot more competition than we used to have. I think people are busier than they've ever been, have far more commitments than they ever did. And the average mom is not willing to get in the car and spend the time and the effort it takes to bring a child here as much as they used to.
In July and $3,000 in August. That is a good figure if you compare it to the 5,000, but it's our summer session, and our summer session has traditionally not been a real moneymaker. I have no way right now of projecting what our student population is going to be this summer. So that's an unknown quantity.
For the older student, the Academy enforces professional behavior, and improper dress or tardiness can mean sitting out a class. Students in the performing company take anywhere from 5 to 10 mandatory classes per week, not including rehearsals.
I started getting into ballet. It was my mother's fault because I was pigeon-toed and knock-kneed. And she really thought that getting into ballet and tap dancing and stuff would help turn out my feet because all the exercises were for turnout.
No one's perfect, and I know I'm never satisfied with my dancing. I can always do better, and I love the challenge of where last week I might do a step and I can see it progress in 1 week, and it just makes you feel so good.
A lot of it's the attitude they push here, especially Mr. Hammett. He's always telling us to, strive for the top, and then work your way back, but not to be satisfied with, say, dancing in the smallest company in the smallest town.
When you first start taking class, the teacher shows an exercise and you say, what was that? Then after a while, like you've done it for a while, you're familiar with it, it's not so foreign to you. You look at it and you say, okay, well, I'm going to take that and I'm going to see how it applies to my body. I'm going to see what muscles work, how they can be stretched more.
I like just moving, on the music. You get almost like, I don't want to say a high, but you do. It's kind of, you know what I mean? When you do something really, really well, and you just feel really good. And class, any kind of exercise gives you that to some extent, but class is better because you're doing something pretty too.
When you look in the mirror, you see everybody, and sometimes you notice, oh boy, my leg is the lowest one in the class, or I look awful, everyone's thinner, and things like that. And that makes you want to try harder.
You look in the mirror and it's like you came the day before, you're so skinny, and then you come back and oh, I gained a pound, I don't want to take class.
Yeah, like after you had some days on a good day, you can look at yourself and say, gee, well, maybe I could be a dancer, maybe I am. And on a bad day, oh my God, I'm so fat. and it just depends.
Doing school performances, say this year, we've done a lot of them, and the further out we go with the performance, the harder time they have dealing with, the boy walks on in tights and they giggle.
The stereotype has changed, yes. Things are more open these days. It hadn't changed. I don't think it will.
One thing about it is ballet is beauty. Ballet is a beautiful art form, and so there's still the trouble people have dealing with men shouldn't be beautiful, and I don't think it has anything to do, it's just hard to deal with that subject, but there's nothing wrong with it.
Well, more and more, we're seeing more strong athletes come into dance. The day of the stereotype of effete ballet dancer is really over. As the ballerina has grown taller in stature, heavier in weight, because of her taller stature, It requires greater physical dexterity on the part of the male dancer.
And it's something that a lot of people, it's not something you really talk to people about. I mean, you know, I can come home and be really excited, you know, oh, guess what, I did, you know, 16 fuertes today, and it's like, 16 what?
These people think like ballet. They think you're sissy, they think you're dumb.
I lost a boyfriend because of coming to dancing so much. He just got so fed up because you had to come here Friday and Saturday nights for rehearsal and classes. And I said, well, we could go out Sunday afternoon.
Exactly what I said.
Oh, boy.
Guys are great when you're first going out with a guy and you're a dancer and they're like, ooh, you're a dancer, you know. And they, yeah, you know, and they don't mind at first, but if they start getting serious about you, you really run into a problem because they'll start expecting you to take them first and have to say, look, you know, I'm married to ballet. I have to be there. That's what I hate. I hate when my feet got blisters and I'm up there dancing and I want to look good and I want to do it well, but it just hurts.
When you go on point, about the time you're probably 16 or 17, you look like you have crippled feet or something, and you have these great big bunions on your feet, and you have to get them lasered, and they just hurt so bad.
You think, oh, well, you only go to Tidewater if you want to be a professional dancer, and they don't realize that there are other levels offered for, you know, different people and different needs.
I think when you're a student, you start out as a student and you progress and you become an artist and you appreciate ballet, the dance world. It's not just ballet, it's not just pointers in a tutu and look at me, Mom, and it's wonderful, the moves and different choreographers that we get to work with and the different ways we get to move and people we get to work with.
I think that it would be, if I wanted to say something, it would be that although we are dancers, we are just like everybody else.
Ballet is a profession that requires youth, and so to have her be going to New York even for the summer is kind of a big expedition. And if she should turn out to do really well, she may have to be leaving our household and moving to New York sooner than most parents plan.
One thing I would say is that it's slightly, I don't know whether it's a feature of America or whether or not, but I knew what I wanted to do by the time I was 8 or 9. It certainly is an unstable career. If he is successful in it, then he will get a tremendous amount out of it. If he is not, then I hope he has the common sense to realize that he should either drop it totally and go into a different field, or adapt his knowledge in the field to make a benefit out of it.
We're all at the starting gate, every day, every teacher, pushing our students forward to go that extra mile, to take that extra height in the arabesque, to jump the 1 inch higher in the steps that we give in elevation. Dance is not for everyone. It is for that unique athlete that can combine the greatest of artistry with athletic prowess, and that's for both men and women.
When I first came up into this costume loft, it was like coming into a maze. I mean, I could hardly walk through the piles of costumes, and sorting through them was so exciting. I would open a box and find some other treasure hidden away. Finding the fabrics, and the whole time I would unpack fabrics, I'd think, oh, well, I could put this with this and it would make this. Many of the costumes up here were done by Mama Martinez, and they are exciting to look at. You can open them up and look inside and just learn so much from looking at the handwork that she did and the creativity that's in every costume.
back here.
At the back, at the center back?
The center back and forward. The testing too.
It does have good movement. Why don't we go down to the studio and let you pitch it around and see what the movement is and where we need to weight it to get the effect you want.
Okay.
The Academy is one of the few schools in the country to maintain a dormitory for its students. The dorm can accommodate up to 12 dancers, and they come from all over the country to live and study in an environment filled with dance.
There are about 6 ballet residencies in America, 42 in the world. 25 years of having a ballet company with a residence has really served this community well. It has served the students well. They've been surrounded by art, good sturdy furniture, color, a sort of European hodgepodge. Much ado about nothing, as one might say.
She carefully enhances my left eyebrow, paints my left eyelid with pearlized blue-gray eyeshadow, and darkens it.
This style is really for short people.
It was definitely, I was focused on ballet, ballet, ballet for the whole year. I ate, slept, and drank ballet pretty much. The studio, having the studio right here, we would be rehearsed. I remember one night, Guy and I were rehearsed with Jean. We started maybe 10 o'clock and we did not finish until 2 in the morning. But then I could just walk in and go to bed, and there was no problem.
Studied all these years, and you're gonna have to have a career because you've worked all these years on it, and it's
we had barely enough to carry on, but that's about the story today. We're just barely, they are barely carrying on.
It's a well-known fact that performances do not generate enough revenue to keep a company going, so funding has to come in from other areas.
But it's also hard to go out and ask for money and to have all the answers.
There could have been greater funding for the Academy, but I wasn't really interested in fundraising. And the new breed of artistic director and advisor come forth with the idea that to have what you need, you get out and you raise the funds for it.
The Academy's success is evident on every available inch of wall space. It is an ongoing tradition to keep a photographic record of the Academy's alumni.
All right, you know, do you like it like that, George, or do you like it looking down the turnaround?
I like that way.
Yes, yes. I get that while we've got it, because this hand towards the back. Now, but don't, all of your faces go like this. All right, your hand goes to his waist, and you use that straight back, and you look towards your, straight, I think you can straighten that leg out, yeah, this leg back. Bring it, no, it's better. All right, good. 1, 2, take it, George. Good, you got it. 2, go, good. That was it. The skirt was up too. Do it again. Get the skirt. Don't be afraid to throw the skirt up. No, go like that. And it's going to fall. It's like, everybody's seen your knees hard. And ready. Go ready. And go. And skirt.
He can be very tough on the students at times, and they weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing, and he told these little 4-year-olds, if you don't do what I tell you to do, I'm going to jump out of those bushes like a giant caterpillar and I'm going to squash you all.
He works in a different way that I've ever experienced anybody else work with dancers. He'll take an individual dancer and he'll look at them, just their personality, and he'll treat them in a way that he thinks that personality can hand.
Mr. Hammond always told me that I couldn't do it. And he always, just kind of said, you never do it, just stay home, make fudge and babies and give up dancing, you're just too dumb. And then when I did it, when I finally got to go away and do it, he was real proud. And
that I think Gene's assumption, until you prove him differently, is that you're going to be a star. He assumes when you walk in his office that you're going to be a star.
One of those footed lamps, very old, has a marble base. Put just any kind of nice base on it, but don't take the marble off.
First of all, you must realize that until I take my last breath, I will be a performer. I would hate not to be on stage.
Oh, without a doubt. Who do you love? Boy, oh, do you? I love you too. Marilyn. Thank you. Marilyn. 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 Thank you. They are a wonderful joy in my life. I mean, I can't imagine a world without animals. I prefer it to most people I meet. I really prefer them to most people I meet.
He's always marched to a different drummer. And people have called him crazy, called him loony. They've told him that this is old-fashioned, but he's still producing dancers.
A disadvantage that an older building and an older school like this can have is that getting new people in and getting young people in, because a lot of times parents are impressed by appearances, what the building looks like. And
I was watching for a building. I was hoping, that we would find something and to move. And I saw an ad in the paper.
The new studio is all the wickets have been passed through. We are on the way. The construction is going to begin.
My whole inner soul was saying, do we have to go? Goodbyes are very hard for me, even when the dancers go.
Then it's going to be very strange leaving these places. It's just like home number 2 to me. I feel like sometimes I've lived here more. They've seen me more here than my parents have seen me when I was growing up.
No, we do not supply sleeping bags. You supply your own.
Finishing the new studios proved to be a labor of love on the part of the students, parents, and faculty. A considerable debt has been established against the success of fundraising and an increase in enrollment.
Because all year they've trained, they've worked hard, they've come in for X amount of classes a week, they've come in for rehearsals, and this is their time to finally show off and to show everybody what they've learned and what they can do.
The Tidewater Ballet Association produces 2 major performances per year, giving the students an experienced segue into the professional arena. For all of their hours and months of rehearsal, the time spent on stage will pass in minutes.
Y'all okay? 5 minutes?
The other thing that I find amazing about Gene's genius is in working with students especially, or designers or anyone that comes across this field, is his ability to send them away.
He's like a mother bird. He'll nurture you to a point, but he'll put out the nest and say, go for it. You know, I've done all I can do. You know, he won't just, he'll make you go do it. You just make the choice.
Let's see, developed a taste, let's say, for the better wine. And that's the national and international ballet scene. And so that's the reason I work so very hard with my students, to develop them to their fullest. No, it doesn't bother me to send them away.
It's going to be hard to leave people, and the security is going to be hard to leave, because I guess my position here is a lot more stable than it will be when I go away. You know, after being here a while, you kind of get your place in the company and everything, and you kind of know what part you get, and you can kind of expect things. Well, when you go away, especially to New York, you can't expect anything. You just have to work your hardest and hope that you progress and they see this progress and will use you.
The best you can hope for and do is just try your hardest and make the best out of the opportunity.
We'd like to continue our boarding process on Flight 310, service to LaGuardia.
But as the last piece of furniture goes out of this building, the last mirror is taken down, the bars are out, who will sigh that sigh of relief? Who will give that sigh of relief? Will it be the building when it collapses because there are no more pictures to hold it up? You know, no more photographs? Or will it be me, leaving my life behind, part of my life?
With the new school, I see a lot of good things happening. It's like a seed. When a seed dies, it has to die before it can grow. And I see Tower Ballet at the time of transition is moving to the 80s into the 90s, because with the challenge, these children with new ballets.
Unlike their previous location, the new facility is specially designed to accommodate the dancer, with features including resilient floors and a nutrition center. And still, the history remains.
We've got the whole wall like this. We have 300 more.
I know, I'm aware of that.
Ballet, which is the proof of it's really an intrinsic part of the arts. In fact, it's earlier than any of the other arts. And yet, it's still begging for acceptance. And acceptance means support.
One.
Ballet is beauty. Ballet is truth. Ballet is everything that you want it to be. Ballet can be corny. Or ballet can be the most beautiful statement made in life. It's the perfect art form when you think that one does not need to even use the voice. Or music. No, just movement alone, placed on the perfect physique, trained to the maximum, is a statement of truth, and truth will always be beauty.
As Gene Hammond has said, it will be an old diamond in a new setting, a place where the tradition of dance is being preserved for the next generation.